Hello, dear viewers. Greetings from the sunny Dubai, and welcome back to ALLATRA TV Middle East. And for those who are joining us for the first time today, I would like to explain a little bit more about the project. Creative Society is an international project which was launched by the participants of ALLATRA International Public Movement. And this is a global project which is being run all over the world today in different languages by the participants of ALLATRA International Public Movement. ALLATRA International Public Movement is an international volunteer movement, and everything is done by volunteers. Also, international internet volunteer television is launched by volunteers of our movement. So today we have a chance to watch a broadcast on ALLATRA TV Middle East, but similar broadcasts are running daily in different languages in different countries by volunteers of the movement. And before I introduce you our special guest, I would like to tell that within this project, we are talking to people about the society they envision, how they would like to live in a happy society, in secure society, in a society where everyone is happy. This is why we run social surveys and interviews all over the world to ask people how they envision such a society. And today I would like to welcome our special guest, Ruchi Singh, an international keynote speaker and a personal leadership mentor for executives and entrepreneurs from India. Hello, Ruchi. Thank you for joining us. How are you, Ruchi, today?
Thank you so much, Alina, for having me, and I'm happy to be here. And it is such a wonderful movement which all of you are running, and I'm just honored to be a part of it, to be a guest on this show.
Thank you so much for joining us, for accepting our invitation. We will have a very interesting conversation today. And my co-host today is Kate from Ukraine. How are you, Kate?
Hi, Alina. I'm fine. Thank you very much. And also, I just wanted to add a little bit. So, throughout this social service, we're also testing a theory of six handshakes, which is a pretty cool theory, actually, because according to this theory, all people in the world, can you imagine, like all people in the world are connected with each other through five or even less social connections. So, and right now, thanks to the modern technology, it's even less than five connections because sometimes it can take only one or two connections to find another person and get acquainted and become friends. So we started this like chain of handshakes a few months ago, and here we are already talking to all people all around the world and exchanging the experiences and having fun and getting to know each other and becoming friends. So before we start our live conversation today, I would like to address to our viewers, guys, please share, don't hesitate to ask your questions, share your vision of creative society, and also stay active in our live chat on YouTube and ask your questions because the most interesting ones will be asked by the end of the broadcast to our special guest. So thank you very much. I'm passing the floor back to Alina.
Thank you very much, Kate. So we have a very special guest today. As I said, Ruchi is with us. And Ruchi, you have an impressive portfolio. Can you please tell us more about what you do in life and what inspires you?
All right. So, like you said, I'm an international keynote speaker, and I'm a mentor, personal leadership mentor. Another thing I do is I create awareness on domestic violence because I'm a survivor myself. And I also have a YouTube channel, Ruchi Singh Talks, and there is a story why I mentioned my channel. There's a story behind it. So maybe I like to share that also. And I was very blessed actually. I was very lucky that just before the world went into lockdown, my last keynote was in United Nations, Bangkok. where I was invited to talk about world peace. So that goes very well with the theme of Europe also. So there I talked about world peace starts with us, and I shared 4 ways to handle it. And yes, so in short, that is what I do. And to answer the other next part of the question as to what inspires me, uh, let me share a little bit of story as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this new career, this is very new for me. Like it's just been hardly been 2 years. Before that, I was for a very long time in HR. I was heading talent management for an MNC. Then life happened. So I got married and I shifted to Sydney, a beautiful city. And I went through domestic violence, and uh, it was like there was a time when I actually thought, this is it, I'm going to die. And that was the turning point, tipping point for me, because one day my husband that time, now my ex, he came home and he kept a knife to my throat, and he was shouting that he'll kill me. I'm very lucky that he changed his mind, and that led me to think after the shock subsided. That led me to think, like, what if I'd actually died that night? I would have just been statistic one statistic amongst millions. And since it was Australia, usually this kind of news makes it to national news. I would love to be on news, but not as a statistic of domestic violence. So that led me think, question. I started questioning myself. I asked myself, like, why is it? Like, have I taken birth just to be a statistic? Like, is that the goal I've been working towards? And thankfully, the answer was no. And another thing was, once you face death, it puts a lot of things in perspective. And and I was like, if I had died that night, what would have been the value of my life? And the only way we add value is when we add value to other people's life. And that is how this new career started. I decided to talk about it. I decided to share my story. But the purpose was not to just share my story, because my story is not unique. That's the reason why it has to be talked about. Like, if it was unique, all right. But my story is part of a bigger story. Millions of women, like countless children and men also, go through domestic violence, and people have to talk about it. So that is why I thought that my story is important, because it is a story of millions. And I started talking about it, also with message to the people who are going through it, that it is very challenging. It does take a toll on you. It is not just physical, it is emotional, psychological too. But I want to let them know, people who are currently going through a very difficult situation, and it need to be domestic violence. All of us have our own challenges. Someone may be just struggling with some kind of addiction, or maybe they were bullied as a child sexual abuse, anything, uh, that even though things uh, may feel hopeless, and we may feel that we are not worth it, we are not good enough, but have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself, do not give in. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to have a happy life. And for that, if you have to work for it hard, then work for it. So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm so happy that I took the decision, because it has taken me to beautiful places, some very prestigious stages like United Nations. And I'm talking to such wonderful people from all over the world, including you guys. Like, otherwise, why would you be even interviewing me? So uh, the people, don't give up hope. There's a beautiful life waiting for you out there. It is tough. I'll not say, oh, it's easy, but hang in there and fight for it.
Ruchi, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know it is very much in line with the project we are running also on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, which is called No to Violence in a Family and a Society. And the goal of this project is to speak up openly about these facts that we have violence in our society, in all spheres of our society. But somehow it happens so that theoretically we understand that violence is bad, it's negative. But practically we cannot imagine our society without violence, like we accept that violence is a part of our society. And the aim of this project is to break up this mindset and to start talking about the fact that violence cannot be accepted in our society at any level, and that even one single case of violence cannot be accepted. And also we would like to show positive stories and stories how people like manage to step over themselves, their fears, their underestimation, and they became free, and they managed to stop violence in their life. So basically, we are uniting people on this platform in this project to show like we are united, and we all together want to say no to violence in our society. And also this is very much in line with the foundation of a creative society, the main foundation of a creative society, which is human life. And I would like already to represent our viewers this first foundation, which is human life. I would read it. Just a second, just I put it on my screen so that I see it. Human life is the highest value. Life of any human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can there be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable. And this is the first and the most important pillar of a creative society. And I would like to ask you a question. From your experience, what gave you freedom to take a decision to step outside of that situation?
All right. So many people ask me this question. So one thing is, it didn't happen like a snap decision. I took time, and because when you are in that situation, it is very confusing for the person who is in that situation. It is not very easy for them to think very rationally, because like I said, violence is not just physical, it is psychological too. People are told, victims are told, you're not good enough, it is you are making me do it, you're worthless. And after a while, no matter how confident or strong you are, it starts chipping away on your confidence. So it happened with me also. And I almost started believing that I'm not good enough, that I'm worthless. Maybe it is me. Maybe I am the one who's triggering that behavior. But thankfully, there was also a part of me, a voice, which was very faint, but which kept telling me, no, this is wrong. It is not your fault. You're not responsible for this. And I have been doing meditation and pranayama, which is conscious breathing, for years and years, much before all this. So that was already a part of my life. So when we go through challenges in our life, we need to find coping mechanism. So a lot of people do alcohol, drugs, or whatever. Luckily for me, since I was already grounded in meditation, pranayama, I started doing it more and more and more, and I used to listen to a lot of knowledge. Even though consciously I was not thinking, oh, I'm doing all this to gain strength to get out of this relationship, I was just doing it as a coping mechanism. But there was one part of me which was like, I will not break down. I'm not going to let anyone pull me down to their level. So that was there. And I used to do little things, like sometimes when like I used to cry, then I used to somehow turn it into, I'll not say humor because there is nothing funny in that situation, but sometimes I used to tell myself in Hindi. I used to say, like, "ये बेटा ये तो आप तो बड़ा रोते हैं." I translate it in this tone. So I used to like tell myself, "Oh my God, you've become an expert in crying." So the way I used to say it, and it was a conscious decision, it used to make little of that crying. I'm not saying that when you're suffering, you're acting out or something. It's just that I didn't want to go down that spiral hole, and I was doing whatever I can. And I used to listen to a lot of speeches like Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. These things, that energy, that used to just make me feel energized. And I come from an army background, as in my father is a retired army officer. So I've always been surrounded by people who are brave enough to die for their country. So that unknowingly maybe, rubs off because you're born in that, you grow up in that environment. So I think all of this together kept me sane. And then, like I said, that was the final straw. And then I decided, no, I have not taken birth just to die and become another statistic. I wish I had a very clear cut answer, but it is a very messy situation to be in. And sometimes it is not a very clear cut road, it has ups and downs. But my suggestion to anyone listening would be never give up and never think you're not worthy, because the day you start believing you're not worthy, you'll not do anything to help yourself because you you'll believe that you deserve it. So yeah, and meditation and pranayam, I can't even tell you how important it is. And it is not just me, science backs it up. Like Harvard has like researchers had done a research where it shows that if you do even 15 minutes of meditation for I think 20 weeks or something, I'm not very sure, it changes the structure of your brain. So that is how powerful meditation is. And pranayama is very, very powerful because maybe we may not realize it, but every emotion has a corresponding breath pattern. We may not notice it, but if you're angry, your breath is like short. When you are panicking, it is fast and shallow. Like doctors say, breathe, take long breath. That is what they're just making you in that state of mind where the mind starts getting that message, it is okay. And when you're very relaxed, you're not even aware of your breath. So these are very scientific things, but it keeps you mentally very, very strong. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's very much important to share positive experience, and for many people who are unfortunately now suffering in such situations, it can be a real tool as a way out. And we really hope with our united efforts, we can quite quickly change the format of our society from a consumer one where people are consuming and dominating over each other and consuming each other, to a creative society there everyone is happy and every human life is precious and valued. So we would like to maybe come to the topic of a creative society, how we can all together build such a society, how you understand it. And Kate, please, let's ask our questions.
Thank you very much, Alina. I just wanted to say one thing in regards to the previous speech of Ruchi. And you said one thing about taking the decision. You said that it wasn't like just like that, right? It was hard, but once you realized that you have to believe in yourself and it's up to you to decide what's going to happen next, right? Whether you choose to you know dive into that negativity, or whether you choose to change everything, step over it and move forward and, just leave it all behind, then everything changed. And how important this, um, the choice that you have and the choice that you make. So thank you very much. It was very, very deep understanding. And in regards to our project, Creative Society, first of all, I want to ask you a question, because like you talk to a huge variety of people. You know a lot of people all over the world. And I want to ask you a question. What, in your opinion, unites all people in the world, regardless of their nationality, religion, their skin color, or place where they live? What do we all have in common internally?
That's a very beautiful question, actually. And we have so much in common. But when I had gone to give a speech at United Nations, I actually made people do something because I wanted to make this point. Uh, so, like I said, the topic I was given was world peace. So I said I'll talk about world peace starts with us, right? So I took, and there were 500 delegates from all over the world. So I took them through an exercise where first I made them, like I made people from every country stand up, and everyone cheered and all, right? And there was so much energy. And like I asked questions like, okay, so who likes Game of Thrones, because it's a very popular. So like if you like Game of Thrones, yay! Everyone feels one and all. So I made them do one exercise after that. I said, okay, now close your eyes, and maybe you guys can do this, right? So close your eyes and take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and breathe out. Again, take a deep breath in, hold it, and breathe out. And now for the third and the final time, take a deep breath in, hold it, and breathe out. Keep your eyes closed. Now I want you to think of a happy moment in your life. It could be anything: birth of your child, getting married, or just having dinner, cozy dinner with your loved ones and friends. It could be, going to a beautiful scenic place like a ocean side or mountain. Anything which makes you happy. All right. Now slowly open your eyes. Whenever we are happy, first of all, both of you had beautiful smiles on your face, and our energy expands. Notice this: next time when you're very angry, frustrated, or something shrinks within you. And when you're happy, you're joyful, or even if you're excited for a cause, something expands within you. Energy. And our whole, I'll not go into technicalities, but the chakras, the heart chakra opens. It happens with all of us, irrespective of our race, religion, gender, belief system, because it happens on its own. And that is what makes us one. No matter what, the way, like all of us look different. Our skin colors are different. We're from different parts of the world. Maybe we have different religion, thought system, right? So these are external. But deep down within us, at our core, at soul, we all respond in the same manner when we are happy. We all feel the same pain when we are sad, when we lose someone we love. And that is what makes us one. We are all human beings. I
Amazing.
hope.
Very nice practice.
Thank you
I
very
have to
much.
admit, I already did it in the past also. Then you just calm down and you try to remember that feeling of a beautiful moment of your life. and then you just forget about the picture and the situation, but you concentrate on these feelings, and you feel very happy at this moment, really. And this doesn't depend on the situation which is going around you, on the circumstances. You just feel happy, and that's a very beautiful feeling. And as you said, then we concentrate on negative, it shrinks, and you feel it immediately. It's a great practice. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And all of us feel the same. So, feeling level, emotion level, we are the same.
Absolutely. And coming back to the topic of a creative society, like as we say, creative society is a society where all people live happily and prosperously, and their people respect each other, and the society is for people, and every person wants the best for the society. It's like a mutual aggregation of our best characteristics and our best involvement in the society as well. Can you remember from your life a situation there you already had such creative interaction with people? Maybe you've been together as a team doing a project or something, there all your potential came to creation of something very good and very beautiful.
All right. It's a good question, it's a good question. They are like whenever you work on a good project with people, uh, you get the same feeling. So I'm trying to think of one specific example which I can help with. Okay. So this is something, when I do stuff which is for charity or something, I don't share it on social media, right? So I had gone and spent 3 days in a what is that called? In a home where they take care of destitute women, children who have HIV or who have been who are orphans, and all. So I'd gone and I'd stayed with them for 3 days, and you would think that when you're there with people, and I had I stayed with them. Like, I didn't say, oh, book a hotel for me. I stayed. They gave me a room. I stayed with them, and the experience was, it was also like heartbreaking, but at the same time so powerful, because the organizers there, they do it not for name or anything. They just do it out of love, because they want to help people who have nobody else to help them. And I was just there for 3 days, so it's not like I did a lot. But in that 3 days, that energy, that feeling that I'm part of something bigger than me, and like the whole day I was involved. I was creating drawings with kids, and the love they showed me. They used to touch my hair, and like so much love, and they used to make me talk in a certain way, and all. They were all kids and women. They wanted to know all about me, so curious, but that was out of love. Like, they used to ask me some very cute things, like, how does it feel to fly, like, in a plane? Now we don't even think of that, and they used to like sit and listen. It was that important to them. But I was so humbled by the courage, and all the time these people who had nothing, they were smiling and giving. And I had gone, and I was part of a documentary which they were making, and we took out a march, say no to violence and all. It was very painful in a way, but at the same time, since I felt I was doing something, and I was part of this whole team which had dedicated their entire life to this, uh, the energy was so high. So what? So whenever we come together for a good cause, we not only get creative, as in we start thinking, okay, maybe I can do this to help people, or I can do that talk to help people. the energy also gets high because you feel you're part of something which is much bigger and which is for the greater good. And it connects like everyone all over the world then. I hope it made sense, my answer.
It's a very beautiful example. Thank you. It's absolutely, we can feel it. Not even we can not only hear it, but we can also feel it, and it's so beautiful. Thank
But
you
I'll be
so much.
honest with you, I cried every day. Every day I used to go back to my room and I used to sit and cry because I couldn't, I just felt so sad. Like, when you look at people who are suffering so much, you feel so grateful for your own life.
Thank you very much, Ruchi. It is truly amazing example, especially when when you are doing something with people together, and when you are doing this not because you will get something from them, but when you're doing this, just from your heart, from your soul. And also, I wanted to ask you a question, like, how do you think what simple steps can be taken by each person in the world to make a creative society happen, right? What can we do daily, simple things that can bring us to a creative society, just like you said in your example, just like the situation that you shared. You went there and you spent those 3 wonderful days together, even though it was hard emotionally, but um, you gained much more from it, and
Yes.
those women, those children also did. So what can we all do in order to make the creative society become true sooner?
One I would say is be very grateful. Every day be so grateful. You know, every day when I wake up, I just thank God for so many things I have. Like, even if we look at just three of us, aren't we blessed? The very fact that we are on internet means that we are better off than millions, because that means we have electricity, we have internet, we have money to pay for it, we have homes, and we have that kind of economic freedom to do this, right? That means our basic needs like food, shelter, clothing has been already taken care of, which millions do not have in this world. Millions. People still die of starvation in our world. So when we are grateful, and immediately something shifts within us. And with gratitude, rather than saying, oh my god, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that, I don't know, that Gucci bag or whatever, you suddenly realize, oh my god, I'm so lucky I'm alive. I have loving family around me. I have two beautiful ladies who want to spend some time with me, just talking to me. Like, how wonderful is that? So what happens is, why people say gratitude is so important. It immediately makes you happy. And happy people want to make others happy. This is what I feel. When I'm happy, I want others to be happy. And the day I'm having a bad day, we are not that concerned with the rest of the world, because then suddenly the energy comes back into me, why, me, why. So gratitude is, I think, is the first step. It sounds very cliched, but sometimes things which are cliched for a reason. So yeah, for me, topmost is gratitude, and it's not like a intangible thing. There is science behind it. So one is that. Secondly, once we start our day right, like I'm just giving a very basic example which is more relevant, right? When we start our day right with gratitude, with feeling of happiness, we are more charged to do something. Whether it's, we not everyone has to be doing something for the society, but even if you are happy as an individual, you are doing so much for the society, because world is what it is made up of people, and every individual is an important part of that whole world, and all of us are connected, because now even science has proved that end of the day, what are we are just energy, right? So I think rather than thinking of very complicated issues, our elders, when I say elders, all the top religious people and all those like real gurus and all, they got it right. We should be more giving, we should be grateful, if and do something for others. The day you start, there's a word in Hindi called seva, which means give. When we give something to others, it again makes us so happy and it makes someone else also happy. So these are the things, and then have the courage. See, doing good for the society needs courage. You can't say, I'll do it. Oh, I'll talk about domestic violence only till the time it's easy. Then you're just being, you're just you have to people who stand up for a cause are very courageous people, because standing up for peace, standing up for things which you believe in when things go wrong, takes immense amount of courage. You have to have courage to have a vision. So you guys have a vision for a creative society. The real test would be when maybe someone suddenly decides that what you're doing is not right. People have issues with everything. Then you will really know how much it means to you. Are you going to fight for it? And
Thank you.
it is true for all of us.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much, Ruchi. And also, I wanted to add one thing that, our project Creative Society has been launched on ALLATRA International Public Movement platform. And you just mentioned in your speech that we still, we live in the 21st century, but we still have hunger, we still have poverty. And in regards to the Creative Society project, we are for global happiness, I would say, and it is not normal to have hunger when we think that we are in this 21st century. The best thing in the world is human, right? So like this egoistic way of thinking is wrong. So we have to share and we have to support each other, because this interaction between humans, it is very important. And also, I wanted to ask you, how do you envision a creative society? What is it for you? How would it be like?
All right. So it may sound like an utopia. But even if, for me, it would be everyone just did little bit every day to make this world a better place. Not everyone has to start a movement, but little things like when you are more empathetic, when you have maybe people coming and working for you, your driver or a waiter. I've seen people who are very polite to me and be very rude to them because they think they can get away with it. And uh, um, things like that. If our basically, if we become a decent human being, I'll not even say a great human being, just a decent human being with decency towards other human beings, irrespective of their stature or which part of the world they come from, how they look, which color, and not only human beings, are we kind to animals? Right? We don't have to like go and become an activist for something, but are we kind? Are we taking care of the environment around us? Little things, and not all of us have time. We can't stand for everything, but if we ensure that in our own tiny circle of influence we are taking care of this thing, I think the world slowly, like if all three of us do this, it automatically will become a better place, won't it? So because even movement starts with an individual, and then it goes with others. And spirituality is very important. People have to be spiritual. Spirituality is very important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And also, the topics we are raising today, they are so much important. And I wish you could participate. We met each other earlier, and you could participate in the conference which we launched a year ago on the 11th of May 2019. There we connected with 140 countries over the world in online conference. The locations were in different countries, and the host country was the United States, Atlanta. And during this conference, we people spoke and we discussed the topics we are discussing with you today on the platform of an international forum. And we came to the conclusion that the reason of our unhappy and unfair society is a consumer format, as we previously discussed, and we raised different topics of inequality, topics of violence in the family, and in the society, topics that people don't want wars, but we still live in the world there are a lot of wars and conflicts. We want everyone to have shelter and good life and food, but we live in the conditions there we produce a lot, but somehow in many parts of this world people don't get enough, and people die and children die. And as a community, we are all united. We have to do something. We have to unite, to sit together, to find solutions, as we are more than 7 billion people with education, with background, with experience. And definitely we have huge potential to create something very beautiful. And after that conference, there was an idea to create this project, Creative Society, and really to realize it in life. So basically, everything what you said now very much corresponds to the ideas and to the foundations and the values of such a society. And we understand that in order to build such a society, we should be united by one common goal. And the basis of our goal are the 8 foundations of creative society, which were described recently in the article published on the webpage of allatraunites.com. And in this article, you, dear viewers and dear guests, you can read this article. And today we would like to introduce these foundations to you and to our viewers. And maybe let's talk about them all together. What is your envision? How do you see it? Do you think our society would be prosperous and happy if we really realize these foundations in our life? So yes, altogether there are 8 foundations. Yes, Kate, maybe we can introduce them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So there are 8 foundations, 8 pillars of the creative society. The first one is human life, and we already discussed it a little bit. The second one is human freedom. The third one is human safety. The fourth one is transparency and openness of information for all. The fifth one is the creative ideology. The sixth one is development of personality. The seventh one is justice and equality. And the eighth one is self-governing society. So, Ruchi, which pillar you would like to discuss right now? As we already started was the first one, and we can move probably maybe to human freedom and human safety, right? Because it also
or human ideology, the creative ideology, because Ruchi just touched the topic that people should remember about their spiritual nature as well.
Yes, in fact, I was keen on, I think, development of personality, but
Great.
I can talk about because the reason why I said development of personality in our world, like in our corporate world, also a lot of time people confuse personality with the way you carry yourself, the way you dress, the way you talk. But in reality, personality is so much deeper. The way we dress, the way we talk, it's okay. I mean, of course, you should be neatly dressed and you should just be neat. And if you want to make your ideas, convince and influence, yes, you should know how to put your ideas across. All that is there. But to me, development of personality means also, the value system. What are your value system? Because if your value systems are in place, you will not do like in 2008 when GST happened in America, when like so many people were just, the whole life savings was wiped out and they were living on streets. At the same time, there were some CEOs who gave themselves millions of dollars in bonuses. Now there has to be something. So on the normal idea of personality, these people are up there, powerful, they know how to dress, they know how to speak, carry themselves right. But where are the value system? How can they not even feel the pain of people who are like, who have nothing? They're on streets and they're old, and they give themselves millions of dollars. So personality is also how you feel. Are you capable of feeling? Do you have integrity? Because all the powerful people we look up to throughout history had integrity. Like, I really look up to Martin Luther King. First of all, he's a brilliant orator. So as a speaker, any good speaker has to listen to his speech, I Have a Dream. Like, if you want to be a speaker, please listen to Martin Luther King. Is my unasked for advice. But yeah, so he had integrity to stand for something which he truly believed in. He fought for racial equality, which is currently happening in USA so many years after he passed away. But at the same time, he decided he'll fight for it with non-violence because he believed in Mahatma Gandhi's theory of non-violence. And it takes immense amount of courage to stand for something which you deeply believe in, but say at the same time, I will not harm another human being. Or Nelson Mandela, like when he walked out of the prison after 27 years, he forgave his jailers. I don't know if I have it in me, honestly, but he forgave his jailers because he said something very beautifully. If I had not forgiven them, I would still be a prisoner. So that to me is personality, and that comes. I think that comes from the very childhood. What are we exposed to? What are we watching on the internet? Are we watching porn, or are we listening to something spiritual or even fun? Like Tom and Jerry. What are you talking about? What are you reading? Who are you interacting with? All of this shapes our personality. Do we think, what do we think is cool? A lot of youngsters, they think, using the F word and just being rude is like so cool. Well, dude, it is not cool at all. Being polite but firm, that's cool. That takes courage. So what do you think, like, as a society, what are we sending the messages to the youngsters? What is cool? We have to take care of that because youngsters, are the real future. So all that is part of personality or a bigger persona. Is spirituality part of our life, or be interested in how big a butt we have, if that's fashionable or whatever? Like, what is what we think of, what we look up to, shapes our responses or reactions to the situations we face day to day in our life. And that is why personality development is very important. And it's not just the softer things like how well you dress, how your hair looks, but the other thing, the deeper things which makes you a person who's known in history. So that is very important to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do agree. That's absolutely true. And as you touched already the topic of the youth, let's talk about the role of mass media in a creative society and about the educational system of the creative society. How would you describe it?
See, first of all, I am the kind of person who likes to take ownership of their own life. In the sense, even when I walked out and finally I started doing what I'm doing, I did not come from a place of saying, oh my God, he did this, he's such a wrong, bad person, and all that. I was like, as a person, I am responsible. I may not be responsible for the situation I'm in, but I'm very responsible for the way I'm responding to it. Unless exceptional situations, if someone is chained or something, these are exceptions and outliers. But in other things, so I am a firm believer that end of the day we have to take ownership. So if mass media like internet, a lot of people say social media is bad. I don't think so. If social media was not there, you and I will not be having this discussion, right? So this is how we are using social media. I am connected to so many people I wouldn't be connected to ever in my life if there was no internet, if there was no Facebook. So social media is just a tool. Even on TV, people call it an idiot box. A lot of people like earlier. But it's again up to you. What are you watching? Are you watching some gossip channel, or are you watching Discovery Channel where sitting at your home you're learning something about the planet Earth? So we have to take ownership rather than blaming the government or every Tom, Dick, and Harry. What are we doing as an individual? Certain issues, yes, they are bigger than us, and we have to take a stand like colonization or racial discrimination. But again, people have to take ownership that I will not do it. You can't change the whole world. Let's be honest, you cannot change the way I think, or I can't change the way you think. I can take a call saying that no matter who else is doing, I will not do it. I have to take ownership. So for mass media, I think it's a very good thing. The responsibility lies on us, and if we are like young kids, it lies on our parents, our guardians, as to how we are using it. And as far as education system goes, I think a lot needs to be done. People should be allowed to uh, like it's almost like the whole system was set up maybe 100 years back or 50 years back or something, and there's been no reform. Like, I'm not an expert, but I'm guessing. Do we like kids? Not every kid has to become a CEO. Not every child has to become a doctor. A lot of them can just be a painter and do fantastically well. So we have to ensure that the education system takes all that um, into consideration. Like, there's a beautiful song. I don't know if you listen to Pink Floyd. But there is a beautiful song. Even if you don't listen to Pink Floyd's, chances are you've heard this. Hey teacher, it's a very famous song. It's about that singer. He sung about school reform. It's from the album Wall. I can't recall it right now, although it's like very famous. So in that he's shown that every kid is the same. It's like being on a factory, like the conveyor belt, and everyone is like a commodity, not individual, because that is what school system does to us. So we should let kids also have some time to explore who they are. I'm not an expert on education system, but this is what I feel.
Thank you so much. These are very important answers, and it was a very interesting interview today. Thank you for being with us, and I think we discussed very much important topics and a lot of new understandings for myself, for our viewers as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Ruchi. And also, I would like to ask the last question for today. Could you please tell us, Ruchi, would you like to live in a creative society?
Oh yes, that is like it'll be lovely to be, and I think just by being connected to such lovely human beings like you and Alina, I'm already one step closer to being in that kind of society. I'm very happy that you guys invited me, and we had such a lovely chat. And I really respect your vision. You're trying to do something which will benefit our world. So kudos to this organization, kudos to all of you. And I'm so happy that I had a chance to come on your channel. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And Alina, I would like to ask you as well the same question. I know that you already answered it a lot of times, but Would you like to live in a creative society?
Yes, for sure. I don't see any other way out. We just have to build a creative society, and we have potential to create it very quickly if we unite. Because every interview, every social service, like gives us additional confirmation in that all people, they feel the same. They want to live in peace. They want to live in harmony. They want to not to be afraid of their tomorrow or today. They want their children to grow in a healthy environment. They want our ecology is clean and nice. We live in harmony with nature and with each other. And why don't we? Isn't it as easy to do it? Just we take decision and we do. No problem. I don't see any obstacles here. So thank you so much, Ruchi, for today's conversation. And dear friends, if you want to participate in our live conversations, please email us, and also please invite your friends to join our live conversations. And also,
Yes, and also, guys, if you would like to join the creative, okay, we got for some reason disconnected a little bit. So yes, anyways, guys, if you would like to join the project Creative Society, please visit the website allatraunites.com and click on the red button join, and then fill out a short form, and the participants of Allatra International Public Movement will contact you, and with them you can share your vision of creative society, your creative ideas, and you know, become a part of Creative Society project.
thank you so much. And don't forget to use 2 hashtags, Allatra Unites and Creative Society. And we are very happy, Ruchi, that you visited our virtual studio today, and hope to see your friends in our next live conversations. Maybe you can think already now about someone who we should invite. What would you say?
Yes, yes, I have a lot of names in my mind, so let me check with them. But I would love to connect more people with this lovely movement, lovely like setup you guys have, because it's like I said, it's a beautiful vision. So that way, and can I also share, if people want to connect with me, they can find me on Ruchi Singh Talk. Like that's my social media handle on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. So all they have to do is type Ruchi Singh Talks, and if they have any questions, they can maybe send it to me on LinkedIn or Messenger or something.
Of course, and also we will share the links how to connect you in the description of our video. Like this, it will be easier for our viewers. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you as
You too.
well. You too.